up-close video of some of the newest Tim Holtz and Tonic tools that have come out. I was just going to focus on the scissors, but then I thought, well, I might as well show the media mat and the new ruler and scraper and the pokey tool as well. So I thought I'd start with the mat. So if I move the rest of this off of the mat, it's out of the way. So the mat itself is like tempered glass, and it's a really nice work surface to work onto. You probably noticed in my videos I was always using the original mat, which is actually underneath this mat at the moment, which is more of a clear glass and it looks a little bit off-white. It's more of like a bluey white. It's exactly the same size. There's a lot of difference in the measurements and everything though. I never actually used the measurements on my mat. I occasionally used the grid lines and stuff, but I never actually used any of the measurements, so I don't mind that it's changed and everything. But the way Tim Holtz has done it, I'll tell you the measurements first. So the mat is about 24 inches by like 14 inches, but the way Tim Holtz has done it, he's split it into a white side and a black side. So the black sort of makes your work stand out more as you're working. It does actually, and I think it actually makes my camera focus better because it's got the black behind it. But anyway, and then you've got the white side, which has got the palette on it. I don't really use the palette that much because I don't know, when I tend to work, I have my hand here, so having my palette there isn't really that useful to me, but I don't mind having my colours out on the black. You probably notice I tend to like put them like this really when I put colours out. So yeah, that's there if you want to use it, but you don't have to. You know, there's no difference in the surface between these two parts. It's all of that is printed on the underside and stuck on. So the top side is just completely smooth glass. But the mat also comes with one of the Easy Clean mats from Tonic. I've just got mine on a piece of acetate because I don't stick it on my mat because I don't use it that often. So I just have it up to the side. And this is about 11 inches by 7.5 inches, and that fits over that white area on your mat. And it allows you to use it as a palette and everything. But I'm always worried if I leave it out I'm going to end up accidentally cutting it, because I'm so used to working on glass that I can just cut anywhere and it doesn't matter. But yes, that's the great Easy Clean mat that comes with it too. And I'd never had one of these before I got this glass cutting mat, and it is really, really good. It's really great for getting that cool wrinkle-free distress technique that Tim Holtz always likes to do when picking up all the little dotty bits of ink and stuff. I'd never been able to like properly create that before, so this is like a key thing for creating those kind of backgrounds. Yeah, so the mat is black, it's the tempered glass, exactly the same as the other one, just different measurements and everything. And he's also brought out recently a ruler and scraper set. So the scraper looks like this, and you hold it along the black piece and you scrape with this side. It's not that sharp, it's just a moulded piece of plastic, and you just would scrape along your mat. You can kind of, I mean, this looks clean, but you can kind of see, or you can hear, if I stop talking in a second, you can kind of hear it hitting things on the mat. See, so there's even little things that you don't even know are there, like little, there you go, I just got a little piece of adhesive off that was stuck on there. There's a little bit of paint here, so you can easily just get everything off the surface of your glass mat without scratching it, which is great. I don't know whether it does actually scratch, but on my old mat I did try to scrape at it with this burnishing tool that I've got that's got a metal end, and I did notice a load of scratches on it. So this is definitely a good tool to have because it's not going to scratch your mat at all. And it comes with the ruler. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you how you use this, so please excuse my bit of a messy desk. You can see my blind reflected up here. So the idea of this, it's kind of like a T-square ruler, but you haven't got the big annoying T bits that are out the sides. And you can see on this end you've got that ridge of plastic coming down. I love the way Tim Holtz always does cool stuff with like the screw heads and stuff. But anyway, you've got this thick piece of plastic, so it goes over the side of your glass mat, so it clicks on just like this, and then you can slide it up and down, get your perfect horizontal lines that can line up with your grid mat as well. So this is going to be really great for different techniques where you want to get stripes and things and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, if you ever do any technical drawing or anything, I haven't got any of my set squares here, but when I used to do drawing in my graphics GCSE, we used to put our like giant blue set squares against our T ruler on a mat so you could get the perfect angle as well. So if you're into all that kind of stuff, this is a great surface to work on and a great ruler to get. It doesn't have any measurements on it, which is a little bit annoying. I'd quite like it if it had measurements, but you've got one edge that bevels downwards, so it's great to draw against, and you've got one edge that has got your metal cutting guide or side in it, so you're not going to cut into it when you're cutting with a scalpel or a Stanley knife or whatever. And you can obviously hook it, I can't fit it that way because I've got stuff there, but you can hook it on any side, so you can get perfect verticals as well if you hook it on the bottom of the mat, or you can get perfect horizontals going on the side of the mat. And this comes in to here, so how many, this square area is 14 inches, so this ruler probably is 14 inches, yeah it is, so got a nice long length to work with as well. So that's the ruler. I'm sure you'll be seeing this in a few of my videos soon too. I haven't properly experimented with it yet, but I'm sure I will be. And then these are the other tools that Tim has with Tonic. So we've got the retractable, I'll zoom back in again. We've got the retractable craft pick, and these are all identical to the previous tools that he had out that were in the sort of maroon colour, so the same as all of these ones. But we've now got them in stylish black colour to match the black mat and everything, and the retractable craft pick, you push down on this and you can make the end bit come out as long as you want for whatever project you're doing. You know, sometimes you want a really long pokey thing to poke all the way through a flower or something. Sometimes you're just poking bits out of a die and you just want something small to poke through them. I do have a warning though, this is really sharp, and I haven't used my original one that much because I keep stabbing myself with it. This is the other one that I like to use, which is quite sharp too, but I don't seem to stab myself as much with this one. I've already stabbed myself twice with this and I've only had it like 2 weeks, so it's very, very sharp, just to warn you. When you're poking with a die, concentrate, because otherwise if you poke your thumb it hurts. So that's the retractable craft pick, and then these are the 3 pairs of scissors. So I've been using mine. I did save the packaging. Oh, the craft pick comes in packaging like this, just like a moulded plastic bubble, and then with the card on the back, and it tells you everything. Extends out to 3 centimetres. So and yeah, the reason why it's retractable is because it's safe then, because it is really sharp. You don't want that poking out in your bag, so it's really, and also it's good when you've got it in your pen pot as well, because it's not going to be scratching anything that's in your pot. Okay, and then so these are the scissors. This is the packaging they come in. Can't find the packaging for the little ones, not sure what I did with it. But I think they're like this, and they're just strapped in 2 places. I love all of Tonic's packaging. It always looks so inviting and lovely. So the 3 different sizes, we have the 9.5 inch big shears, the 7 inch snips, and the 5 inch little baby mini snips. The first ones to come out was this size, then they brought out the giant size, then they brought out the baby ones, and obviously they came out in the red colour first, and they've just released them all in the black colour. I've had my little pair, the red ones, for just over a year now, and they are so good for fussy cutting. I think I said it in my top tips video on fussy cutting. They're just so comfortable to use, and because the handle's squishy, you know, it doesn't hurt your hand so much when you're cutting. Because I mean, even though I'm younger, it still hurts my hands when I'm cutting for a long time. Especially, I mean, I love Tonic scissors, and these ones are Tonic too, but that hard plastic, if you're cutting for over an hour, cutting out loads of images for different cards, that really can dig into your thumb, and you might not notice it so much when you're cutting, but when you take them off, you've got a big like dent in your thumb. So these really combat that, and you can get more fingers through the holes as well, and you can hold them however you like. I seem to weirdly hold it with my finger over the top, but if you are normal, you can hold them like that too. Yeah, so they're really, really great, and I'm sure I mentioned in my fussy cutting video too about the micro serrated blade. I'll show you with the new ones. So my tip is, if you want a straight edge on what you're cutting, this logo, so where it says Tonic and Tim Holtz, you want it facing away from what you're cutting. So you know, if you're right-handed with cutting, you'd have it facing away from your hand. That means you'll get the straight edge on your cutting. I'll show you on some satin mirror card actually, because you can probably see the difference better. So if I hold it like this, see, this was away from the label, or well, away from the logo, and I've got that gorgeous straight flat edge with no serration. But if you look on the other side, you can really see those tiny little serrated bits. I mean, I'm not sure if it's really noticeable to most people, but it bothers me, so I always make sure I hold my scissors round that way. I think it's the same with all of the scissors. Let's try the middle size. Yep, that's the same too, and the shears, just to check so I don't tell you the wrong information. Yep, so on all three sizes, if you don't want the serrated edge on what you're cutting, you make sure that the logo is away from you. I've got fingerprints all over this now. You make sure that the logo is away from you as you're cutting. But the reason why, I mean, they could just make the scissors without the serrated blade, but the reason why they put the serrated blade on, which is actually why I really love these scissors, is because it enables you to get through materials much easier. Like, I like to stamp and cut images out on 300 GSM card, and when you're using just normal scissors, it's quite an effort to get through. But if you move over to these ones that have got that micro serration on one of the blades, it really helps you get through thick cardstock and being able to manoeuvre them easily as well. Have I got anything stamped out that I could show you cutting out? Okay, I haven't got anything stamped out, so I'm going to show you with something that you would think would be really difficult to cut out, but it makes it much easier with these scissors. Oh, while I'm talking about Tonic stuff, I really love their acrylic blocks too. They've really thought about the design, and I never used to get my fingers in the ink anyway, but if you do, they've got the handle sort of away from it, so you've got your cards protected from any inky fingers getting onto your card, and you can also use this side as like a water pot as well, so they're really cool too. Let's just get some black ink. I'm not going to cut this whole thing out, but I just thought I'd show you them in action. Okay, so you're holding with the logo away from you so that you're going to get a nice clean cut, and then you can hear the noise as well. You don't really usually hear that because I turn the volume off on my videos, but you can really get a lot of control when you're cutting around images. That's terrible noises. And it just seems to make it so much easier to cut out. It's not until you, well, when you start using them, you obviously notice the difference, but when you've been using them for a while, if you go back to your other scissors, you really, really do notice the difference that they're making. just cut all this bit. Oh, and obviously if you already have the red handled scissors, they're the same as the black handled ones. But because I use lots of Tonic products in my videos, I wanted to get the black handled ones to be up to date. But they're exactly the same as the red handled ones. And I'm quite looking forward to having 2 pairs actually, because you know, sometimes you want to have a pair of scissors for fabric, or, you know, for cutting ribbon and things. You want them to be nice and sharp. I can keep maybe the black handled, 1 pair of the black handled for doing that kind of thing with. So that is, see, it makes it so easy to get around all those little areas with these scissors. So I thought I'd show you that, and also I want to tell you like the different uses for these scissors too. So obviously these fussy cutting, or any kind of small cutting really, just cutting something that is small, they're great for. The big ones are brilliant when you want to cut a sentiment out, like say you've got a small sentiment stamped on your card and you want to cut it into a thin strip, but you're not that confident with your paper trimmer or your guillotine. Because these have got such a long blade, you can get a really nice straight cut with them along a long distance. They're also great if you just need to like quickly chop a piece of paper in half or whatever, because of their lovely long blades. Then the middle size are really great for snipping really thick materials. I know all of them will cut thick materials, but because you've got the nice short little stubby blades and everything, and you've got the big handles as well, I find these ones are the best for cutting through thick, heavy materials. In my acrylic pouring series, which may or may not be up when this video goes up, I was even showing you can cut ice lolly sticks in half as well with these, you know, so they're really decent scissors. Yeah, so I just thought I'd share a few of the newer Tim Holtz and Tonic products that have come out. So you've got the brand new black handled scissors, the retractable craft pick, the CRaFTi tool, and the like tea ruler, and the medium mat with the easy clean mat that goes along with it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close look. Thank you for watching. Bye.